This is my second cup of tea today. Hey everybody, I'm Retro Dropout, as you can see from my channel name, and this is my first YouTube video on this channel. I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to make this channel about, and it's kind of difficult for me to figure it out because there's not one particular thing that I'm interested in. I just kind of like a conglomeration of things. So I was thinking this channel is probably going to be just a shit ton of different things that I like and that I'm interested in, and I thought the best way to start that out would be by going through my record collection, because I'm very, very interested in records and collecting records and music and things like that. So I thought it would be fun to go through my record collection. I've been collecting for about a year and a half now, and I've gotten a good amount of records in that time, in that short period of time, so I thought it'd be fun to go through them. I have my regular records down on the floor with me, and then I have my 45s up here, and maybe one day I'll even go through my cassettes once I get more of those, but I don't have enough right now to really warrant a collection video. But I thought this would be really fun to do because I love records, I love record collecting, and this just seemed like a fun idea, and I love watching record collection videos because, like, those are so much fun. And they're so fucking cool to see people's collections and see what kind of records they have. I thought I might as well do this video now. I'll probably be going to a record store this weekend and picking up more records, but maybe at the end of the year I could do another record collection video if this one goes well, and see how much I've gained through the year, because I plan on continuing to collect. What I'm going to try to do with each record, I'm going to try to go through the record, go through where I got it, if I have an interesting story about it, I'll give the story, and then my favorite song off the record. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible, so I'm not going to go through every record in extreme detail, but this is going to be fun. So, let's go. I'm going to start with my 45s, because I have quite a few of them. So the first 45 I have is Carpenter's Top of the World with Heather on the B-side. The Carpenters are one of my favorite groups. I love the Carpenters. The sleeve is a little beat up because this was my mom's from back in the 80s, and she had the sleeve, she didn't have the record, but I managed to find the record at a record store when I was in California this past spring break, so I managed to buy it and I put it in its original sleeve, so I'm very excited. Next one is one that I really love. If you know me, you know that Queen is one of my favorite groups that there is. I grew up with Queen. They're a band that I love. I love all their music. Just, Queen means a lot to me and brings back a lot of good memories from my childhood. I got Radio Gaga with the B-side of I Go Crazy on a 45. I got this on eBay, I believe, and it's one of my prized possessions. Next one is Police, Dead End Job, and Roxanne. I got this at my local record store. So the next one is Video Killed the Radio Star by the Bugles, and this took me so much fucking time because I accidentally just bought the sleeve on eBay, not knowing it was just the sleeve, and I didn't have the record, so it took me a while until I finally decided to actually go back on eBay and try to find the regular 45, and I found it, so I bought it. So now it's in its original casing, and that's really nice because I finally have it and I don't just have the sleeve laying around like I used to. This one is a new buy. I bought this about a week ago when I was in Canada. I bought Frankie Valli, My Eyes Adored You, and Watch Where You Walk on 45. No sleeve, but it's still really nice because I love Frankie Valli, so I wanted to buy one of these. It was only 99 cents, so it was really cool. These are getting more into the ones that were given to me by my mother, like out of her old collection whenever she was in high school. So this is You're the One That I Want and Alone at the Drive-In movie from the movie Grease with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, which I love that movie, so I was really excited about this one. Next one is Billy Joel 52nd Street in My Life. Next I have a few Bee Gees ones. I have Rest Your Love on Me by the Bee Gees and Too Much Heaven by the Bee Gees. I have Down the Road by the Bee Gees and Night Fever by the Bee Gees. And I have How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees and Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. The sleeve's really messed up with this one, but this is another one that I got from my mother when she was younger. Put Your Head on My Shoulder, Leif Garrett, and Kari by Leif Garrett. Next I have To Be a Lover by Billy Idol. Next I have That Was Then, This Is Now by the Monkees. Next I have Grace from Grease. Next, this is one I'm really excited about. I just got this one yesterday out of my mom's old collection, but it's Heart of Glass by Blondie and 11:59 by Blondie. I love Blondie so much, and I'm so excited about this one. I actually need to play this. Next is Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar and Looking for a Stranger by Pat Benatar. Next is Toto, It's a Feeling, and Toto Rosanna. Billy Joel Piano Man, which I'm really excited about, and The Entertainer by Billy Joel. And finally, for my 45, I have Phil Collins' Against All Odds, which I was really excited about because I love this song specifically. So I wanted to go through the 45s kind of quickly because there's not much to say about a lot of them. A lot of them are hand-me-downs and there's not a lot of backstory to any of them, but they're all music I really enjoy. So next, we're going to go on to my big records, my actual records, and there's quite a few, so this is going to take a while. So first I have ABBA Voulez-Vous. I got this when I was in California at the record store. We got it because it was an inside joke. My friend bought this one actually, and she left it at my house. I need to give it back to her actually, but it was kind of an inside joke, so we decided to buy it. So my favorite song off of this album is Chiquitita. That's one of my favorite ABBA songs. Not my favorite album song, but one of my favorites. And this is an amazing ABBA album, so if you like ABBA, definitely pick up this album. So the next one doesn't have a cover. I cannot find the cover, but it is in a sleeve. It is AC/DC High Voltage. This album is a really good album, but it's an album I really like because my childhood nickname, it was TNT, and that's one of the songs on this album. So TNT is obviously my favorite song off of this album. I've heard this song 1,000 times. This was another band that I really grew up with when I was younger because my dad absolutely adored AC/DC, probably still does, and I've kind of started listening to more AC/DC, especially with me getting into record collecting, and now I'm just like, some good music, that's some quality music. This is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm covering because it has my dad's full name in the corner. My dad was a DJ back in the 80s, and this was one of his records that he had. That's where I get a lot of my records is, my dad was a DJ and my mom collected, obviously, whenever she was younger because records in the 80s. So I take a lot of my records out of their old collection, or out of their old records, and out of my dad's old DJing. So I have the Rocky Horror Picture Show. My favorite song off of this album would probably be Over at the Frankenstein Place or Damn It Janet. Like really simple songs that everybody knows, but they're some of my favorites. But Eddie does have a lot of like memories attached to it because I would always sing it in the kitchen with my mother because it's just one of those songs. I got this album for Sweet Caroline because this was whenever I was still in the beginning of my record collecting hype and I wanted to buy every album in existence. So I have this laying around now. So I guess my favorite song off of it would be Sweet Caroline because I haven't had the chance to actually listen to it. So the next album I have is Simon & Garfunkel's Greatest Hits. I believe this was also another hand-me-down from my mother, and my favorite song is Bridge Over Troubled Water. It is a slap. The song slaps. This whole album slaps, honestly. This album's really good and I would recommend it. Once again, a lot of these albums are not in like perfect mint condition because a lot of them are hand-me-downs from my parents. So with that being said, the next one I have is Pink Floyd The Wall, which is an amazing album. Once again, this is one of my dad's favorite bands, I believe. So this was another group that was played a lot when I was younger. My favorite song off of this is The Trial. I think that song is really good, so that's my favorite song off of this album. Next album is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. This is another hand-me-down, obviously, as you can tell from the wear on the album. The vinyl itself is fine, but there's some wear on the cover. But it's pretty nice still. It's still in pretty good condition. My favorite song off of this album would have to be Us and Them or This next one's actually really funny. So I have Sierra 1-2-step remixes, only 1-2-step remixes. It was my birthday this past year, I believe, and we went to a record store in my town, and we were going through the bargain bins, and I was telling my friend, I was like, I need you to pick out one record, look, anything you want, pick out one record, give it to me, and I'll buy it. And she picked out this. It was only $3, and we spent like an hour listening to it on repeat when we got home, just laughing our asses off because just only the remixes, not even the real song, just the remixes. Next one I have is the Dirty Dancing studio album. This is another hand-me-down because this is one of my mother's favorite movies, if I remember correctly. My favorite is You Don't Own Me. Next I have the J. Geils Band Freeze Frame. This is another album I bought for $2 for a single song. Because like I said, I used to want to buy every single album that I could find. So I bought it for Centerfold, because that song slaps. Next I have The Police, Synchronicity. This is one of my mom's hand-me-downs and I took it, because she had 2 copies, I believe. This is one of their bigger albums, I'm pretty sure. And yeah. Next I have Super Trooper by ABBA. There's a lot of ABBA in this collection because I love ABBA. My favorite song off of this album is Lay All Your Love on Me or Our Last Summer or Andante Andante. It's really hard to pick a favorite ABBA song, but this is another hand-me-down that I got from my mother. Next is The Magic of ABBA. The next few are ABBA, by the way. This is in a little bad condition in case of the cover, but I'm pretty sure the record itself is fine. My favorite off of this album would be either Voulez-Vous or Take a Chance on Me. So another ABBA album. This is ABBA, as all of them are. My favorite song off of this album would be SOS, and this is another hand-me-down. So this is one I picked up recently because it's still in they put it in a little plastic. This is the Beatles, Yesterday and Today. I got this really recently, maybe a few weeks ago. My favorite song off of this album is Yesterday. That's one of my favorite Beatles songs. I don't listen to a lot of the Beatles, but I have a few songs that I really do like, and Yesterday is one of my favorites. So I bought this album because it had a lot of songs on it that I actually liked. So next one is Auto American by Blondie. This is, once again, from my mother's collection, and I have not had a chance to listen to it much, so I don't have a favorite song yet, but there are a lot of songs off the album that I do enjoy. So I can't give a favorite song yet, but it's a really good album. Next I have AC/DC Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. This is another one, I believe this was my father's. I recently started actually listening to the AC/DC in my collection because a lot of them were hand-me-downs and I took them. So I recently started listening to this, and I have to say so far my favorite song is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I know it's the title track, but it's really good. So next, this is one of my newer albums I have that is like a newer artist. This is Grimes, Visions. My favorite song off of this is Oblivion, and I picked this up when I was at a record store / cafe going to a concert. Next one I have is Linda Ronstadt's Greatest Hits. This is another one I picked up from my mother. My favorite song off of this album is probably Desperado. So the next one I haven't had a chance to listen to yet. This is another one I haven't had the chance to listen to yet. This is a recent purchase. It is Nils Lofgren, Night After Night. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. I bought it really recently, but I like Nils. What I've heard from Nils before I really like, so I picked up another one of his albums. The next one is Cornerstone by Styx. My absolute favorite song off of this album is Lights. Like, I fucking love that song. This song is really good, and I'm really happy that my mom introduced me to this group and introduced me to that song in particular. My mother really introduced me to, and it was one of her favorite songs growing up, and now it's one of my favorite songs. I really like it. The next album I have is Highway to Hell by AC/DC. This is another hand-me-down, which like is in pretty good condition, I'd say. My favorite song off of it is If You Want Blood, You Got It. The next album I have is Lana Del Rey, Born to Die. My favorite song off of this album is Radio. It's one of my favorite Lana Del Rey songs. No, it is my favorite Lana Del Rey song, like, ever. I bought this one when I was in Canada about a week ago at the record store that I went to up there, Sonic Boom. And yeah. The next one is AC/DC Back in Black. This is really worn, the cover. The record itself is fine, but the cover is really worn down. You can't even see where it says Back in Black or AC/DC, but it is AC/DC Back in Black. My favorite song is What Do You Do for Money, Honey off of this album, and this is another hand-me-down. The next one is Little Shop of Horrors, original cast album. I got this for $1 at the bargain bin at my local record store, and my favorite song is Skid Row. I know it's like the first song, but it's really good, okay? This is another example of an album that I bought a while back because of one song, which is Bananarama, True Confessions. I bought it for Venus. This is an album I do actually plan on listening to at some point, and it was only $4. The next one is Cheap Trick, Heaven Tonight. This is the only Cheap Trick album I have, but it's a hand-me-down from my mother. My favorite song on this album is How Are You? This next album is another one that I got at the record store before the concert. There was a cafe and a record store. It is Humans by the Gorillaz. I absolutely love the Gorillaz. And when I saw this album, I knew I had to get it, so I bought it. My favorite song off of this album is probably Saturn Bars or Andromeda. Next one is Back It Up by Nils Lofgren Live, an authorized bootleg. I got this at my local record store, and I've listened to this I've only listened to this once, but from what I did listen to, it was really, really good. My favorite songs off of this album were Back It Up and Going Back. So the next one is a one I got recently. It's a reprinting. I got it at the record store I went to in Canada, Sonic Boom, and it is Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Now my absolute favorite song off of this album is Go Your Own Way, and that's actually my absolute favorite Fleetwood Mac song ever. And I just, this album is really good from what I've heard from it so far. I've only had the chance to listen to it about once, or at least I've only had the chance to listen to the first side of it so far, but from what I've heard so far, it's really good, and it has my favorite song ever on it. The next album is Fleetwood Mac Mirage. My favorite song off of it is Empire State, and this is another really good album that I really love. So now we're getting to the front of my collection, and this has all my favorite records I put in the front, so let's go. Next one is Future Generations Landscape. This is another album I got by telling the same friend to pick an album out for me and I would buy it. This was only $4 and I bought it at Amoeba Music in California. And from what I've heard from it, I love this album. Like, it's such a good album. I never thought a random pick would produce like such a good choice and a band that I actually like now. So my favorite songs off of this are Landscape, their title track, and Stranger. So getting on to my next album, this is The Carpenters, The Singles. I love this album. This is a reprinting, obviously. My favorite song off of it is Top of the World, because that is one of my favorite Carpenters songs. So next we're getting into my Queen collection. This is the last of my collection, but this is all my Queen vinyls, and just like I said, I love Queen, I love their music, so I'm trying to get all their records. I don't have all of them right now, but I'll go through what I do have, and that'll be the end. Starting first, I have the reprinting of News of the World. I got this album probably about last year at my local record store, and my favorite song off this album is It's Late or Spread Your Wings. The next one is a reprinting of Queen's Innuendo. My favorite song off this album is Innuendo. Innuendo is actually one of my favorite songs that they've ever made. And this is an amazing album. Next one is Queen's Greatest Hits. I got this album at my local record store a little bit ago. It's a simple album, it's just their greatest hits. I'm pretty sure this is an original copy, not a reprinting. So my favorite song off of this album would probably be Keep Yourself Alive. Next one is Queen 2. This is another album. This is one of Queen's albums that I haven't listened to that much. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't hate it either, so I wanted to pick it up because I'm trying to get all of Queen's albums. My favorite on this is Seven Seas of Rye. Like I said, it's not my favorite Queen album, but it is a good one. The next one is an original printing of Queen's Sheer Heart Attack. I picked this up about a year ago at my local record store for only about $10, which I was really excited about. The record itself is in fine condition. There's a little wear on the cover itself, but it's not bad at all. Really excited about this purchase. Very excited about this one. My favorite song off of this album is probably In the Lap of the Gods or In the Laps of the Gods Revisited. Probably the Revisited more because the Revisited is far superior. This is another one I picked up at the record store that I went to in Canada. It's Queen: A Night at the Opera. It's the reprinted version, but I've always wanted to pick this one up. It was about $20, and I really wanted to pick this one up for a while now, so I decided to buy it since it was so cheap. My favorite song on this album is 39, another one of my favorite Queen songs. Next I have Queen the Game. There's a nail on the top, so I'm blocking it out, but this is another one of the ones that I got passed down to me from my mother. My favorite song off of this album is Play the Game. And finally, my favorite album in my entire collection, I saved it for last. It is a Queen album. It is Hot Space by Queen. It's a little rough around the edges, but I got this one on eBay. It is an original printing, and this is one of my favorite albums ever. This is one of my favorite albums ever. I just love the music on this album. There's not a single song on this album that I dislike, and this is one of my favorite albums ever. It is my favorite Queen album ever, and I am so happy to have it in my collection. It is my favorite part of my collection, so this is my prized possession. This is such an amazing album. This is such a good album. My favorite songs off this album would probably be Cool Cat or Back Chat. But it's really hard to pick a favorite song off of this album because, as I said, this is an amazing album and this is just such a good album. So that does it for my record collection. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I have just started record collecting about only a year and a half ago, so my record collection's not the biggest, but right now I have a lot of records that I love and a lot of records that I plan on getting to soon that I want to grow to love. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos. Maybe I'll do a cassette collection soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.